What's good? Welcome back. I hope Obsidian Flames has been treating you well. I've been having a blast. I've been playing the same handful of decks. If you want to know what I've been playing, let me know in the comments below. We are trying something a little different today, so if you enjoy it, let me know. If you're one of those few people that don't, this one here is for you. Warning, the following video may contain opinions and thoughts that you may or most likely will disagree with. If you are offended by these differing views, please tune away now. Now that all the negative Nancys are gone, they've tuned away, this one's for you kind folks that stuck around. So today's video is more of a thought experiment, more like a wish list, speculative, anything that we want to see down the line. So it's for future formats. It's not Paradox Rift, it's not the first set in January, February, it's not something for August, it's something down the line. We're playing Brandon's wish list of cards that would make the game fun, interesting, potentially broken, but I'm here for it. They have to currently be out of standard format. So we're not grabbing any Path to the Peak, Collapse Stadium, Artisan. As nice as those cards are, I don't think those should be included in today's type of list. And the last one, because Brandon's School for Sciences and not graphic design, no fan-made cards. If you have ones you'd like to send me, be sure to go check over on Twitter, send them to me. I'd love to feature them in another video. Love to do more of these actually. So if this is well received, cover more. We can cover all the other types of cards. We can even go specific Pokemon. So with that said, let's dive right in. Our first honorable mention, Forest of Giant Plants. So this card currently sits on our expanded ban list, and for good reason. Each player's grass Pokemon can evolve the turn they come into play. That's a quick basic to a stage 2. There's some Vileplumes in expanded that break the card obviously. So I assume with the standard format, they would just not print item lock Vileplume or cards of those nature. Chaotic Swell. I absolutely hate this card, but I figured it was worth mentioning because there are a few of you kind folks that do like this card. So whenever a player plays a stadium, discard that stadium after discarding this one. So it just cancels out the stadium. So if you're so desperate to avoid Path to the Peak, you'd love this card. Everybody else who wants to use their stadium, you hate this card. I am one of those in the latter. Skyfield. Each player can have 8 Pokemon on his or her bench. When this card leaves play, discard until both players have 5. The owner of this card will discard first. We did have this on Eternatus VMAX or Eternatus, I don't know how it's pronounced, and it was only for dark Pokemon, and it was pretty balanced. I would love to see the shenanigans with all of the once per turn rules that we've been seeing on our very powerful V and basic EX Pokemon. I think it would make the game very interesting, make bench management also more fun. You'd really love to go wide, but you know, also desperately wishing for a Nuzzle deck, but we'll save that one for another day. So these are some ones that I thought that were good, but not quite, because I don't think we'll see these types of cards anytime soon. But what cards we do see, in at number 10, we've got Altar of the Sun. So this one is pretty fair, this one's pretty balanced. It just says Fire and Metal Pokemon, both in play, have no weakness. Fire's been kind of on the back foot since we've gotten Irida and Palkia and Greninja and Melanie and Ice Rider and, oh my god, I think Garchomp's coming. There's a lot of cards that just really put Fire on the back foot. Metal, Fire's kind of bad, so again, if you bump one, you might as well bump the other. So make them both good. Step. At number 9, we've got Viridian Forest. Very healthy card. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard a card from their hand. If they do, search for basic, put it into your hand. So it's half a Chen Pao. It's a discard for decks that are looking for that. Grabbing your basic energy. We play Energy Search right now. We play Letter of Encouragement. We play a lot of stuff. But to have a Stadium Bump, an Energy Search, and a discard, I really don't think this breaks any decks. But tell me if I'm wrong. In at number 8, Training Court. So this is one of those rare, it just rotated, bring it back cards. Once during each player's turn, that player may put a basic energy from their discard pile into their hand. This is one of those cards that you don't want for the now because Lost Box is so good. All of those decks want to see energy back in their hand. Training Court is something that we would see long after they're rotated. In at number 7, we have Turffield Stadium. So yes, I was against Forest of Giant Plants, but I think this is more in line. So once during each player's turn, you can search your deck for an evolution grass Pokemon reveal and put it into their hand. Right now we have some very awkward ways to work with grass. We have Groddle from Brilliant Stars, which lets you do this, but any grass Pokemon. We have Lilligant V-Star, which will rotate long after this card would ever come back. That lets you search for a combination of grass Pokemon and energy. So I'd love to see this kind of card come back. It's not overly broken, it's just a quick search for something. It never really got to see its heyday because when it released in Rebel Clash in 2020, we were 1, in the pandemic, and 2, Welder was everywhere. So you had your Reshiram Charizards, you had pretty much anything that could take advantage of Heatrans, Centiskorch VMAX. There was a lot of fire types, so this card never saw play. By the time it was getting close to play, it was on its way out the door. In at number 6, we have Martial Arts Dojo. So this one is an interesting one. 2019 card, kind of overshadowed in the thick of things, but I think it's interesting. So the original text says the attack of non-Ultra Beast Pokemon that have any basic fighting energy attached to them do 10 more damage, but if you have more prizes remaining than your opponent, you do 40 instead of 10. So I think this is a nice buff for a lot of decks that could want this. Don't apply it to Lost Box, it'll be long gone by the time this card comes back. Don't worry about the Ultra Beast clause, because I would update the text to exclude Paradox Pokemon. They're going to be balanced in their own right. I think excluding them for a card like this would keep them in line. That card with this one would have been broken. And again, a Stadium Choice Bell type card would be really nice. And then maybe slot in one of those Stadium Nav cards so we can search our stadiums. Wishlist here, you know, we're just having fun. These are also some stadiums I really enjoyed. So slotting this and one fighting energy in a deck, down on prizes, nice 40 damage, gets you right over the line. In at number 5, we have Sky Pillar. Anybody complaining about Sableye at the moment would definitely know what this card is. So it prevents the effects of all your opponent's attacks, including damage, done to bench Pokemon. This is Manaphy on steroids in Stadium form, so it would protect Lost Mine, it would protect Moonlight Shuriken. I'm surprised we haven't seen it in format. It's Espeon with Manaphy, smash them together in Stadium form. Would really love to see this card come back. When it was initially in the format, I think it saw very little play, and there were spread decks in format, spread rampant. This card just didn't see play. I don't know why, but again, it'd be a fair, balanced card that I think a lot of decks would really enjoy. Bring it back. Bring it back, give us another chance. Make it harder to get rid of, too. Yeah, the Stadium is unaffected by your opponent's items, supporters, and card effects. So no Worker, no Lost Vacuum, no effects that discard it, like the new Charmander from 151. Make your opponent have to have a Stadium to bump it, to make it more powerful, make it more relevant. Make the Stadium more something relevant. This isn't a universal protector, but it does mean your opponent has to have an answer to it if they want to deal through it. Just a suggestion, though. Let me know how wrong I am in the comments below. In at number 4, Shrine of Memories. So this effect has been on a couple different types of cards. Celebi, I think it's a Celebi, Shining Celebi. Shrine of Memories just says we can use the evolved Pokemon's attacks previous evolutions. So if there's a middle stage that you want to use, if there's a basic that you want to use, you can really take advantage of that. The biggest one that comes to mind is very meme deck, is I would evolve Rhyhorn to Rhydon. Rhydon had this really cool attack from Unbroken Bonds, but I would evolve it up to Rhyperior. So then I get the ability on the Rhyperior, but still get the chance to use the effect of the Rhydon for Mill. Mill is the first one that comes to mind for me, but I would love to see this. It'd literally make all of the effects interesting, and include abilities for previous evolutions. Imagine being able to use your Gardevoir EX and the Kirlia underneath it for its ability to refinement. It would really make you want to play the stage 1s, and whatever you can do to make those stage 1s more appealing and make you want to play them, it'll really slow the game down. Once the stage 2 is online, the game just gets really, really out of hand, but value the spots in the deck. In at number 3, Shrine of Punishment. Okay, this one I've been crying for since we've lost it in, 2020? Between turns, put 1 damage counter on each Pokemon GX and EX, both yours and your opponent's. So this is damage modification, this is in between turns. Spread's not coming back anytime soon, but this is just nice, it's mods, it helps with 1 prize decks, punishes those big multi-prizers. But place 2 damage counters on a Pokemon with a rule box between turns. This will punish your opponent for using the very powerful Radiant Pokemon. This will punish the Vs, the V-Stars, the EXs. If your opponent decides to play a basic EX deck like Miraidon or Chien-Pao, punish them for it. We're trying to push towards an evolution format, and I think the inclusion of the word rule box rather than evolutions or only these would be much more inclusive, because we're trying to push the old mechanics out and we're trying to get the new stuff in. So I think we should bring it back, and I will die on my hill. Bring it back. But we've hit number 2. So this one is a bit out there, and I apologize. Not really. Nah, it's my list. Thunder Mountain. So for those of you who might have missed out and are newer to the game, Prism Stars, you can play 1 copy of that card in the deck. You can play as many Prism Stars as you want. When their card hits the discard pile, they go to the Lost Zone instead. Currently, we can't have that because of Sableye, because of Comfey, Giratina, Colress. But don't worry. I'm thinking, why not sneak it in with those brand new Ace specs coming in 2024? Remember I said I didn't go to school for graphic design? This is the peak of my powers. Rather than it be a Prism Star, it is an Ace spec. So it is your one of in your deck. It is very powerful. It reduces the attack of your lightning Pokemon. It could make Miraidon a very strong contender. It could allow it to sneak in other cards. It is very strong, and it has the text already built in. When a player plays an item or supporter card to mess with this, it ignores it. So you have to bump the stadium with a stadium. And I really think that should be the common trend for a lot of these, is you have to bump the stadium with a stadium. So Thunder Mountain, bring it back. Doesn't have to be Lightning. I do like Lightning. Miraidon could probably use a little bit of a boost right now. The other one of mind was Dimension Valley, but do we really need that for Gardevoir at the moment, or anything down the line? I don't think so. So Thunder Mountain is more likely than Dimension Valley, but I get it. And if you stuck around until the end, just want to say thank you. The 12ies that stick around to the end, this one's for you. Broken Time Space. This card was in fact broken. Each player may evolve a Pokemon that he or she just played that turn. It is a stadium. It was very strong. It has been over 10 years since we saw this type of card. Forest of Giant Plants was too specific. I think this one, unleash the gates. Let this one have fun and keep an eye on the abilities that they're printing. But instead, we balance it. So we make it an Ace spec. Everybody's going to pick Computer Search if they reprint Computer Search. But if you see a card like this and you're playing Evolutions, how tempting would it be to play this as your one of? I think Ace specs should be on the level of almost broken, because if they're going to take up that one slot in your entire deck, they should be providing something. Computer Search is just a free grab a card. Dowsing Machine is just recover a card. Why not a card that just lets you evolve everything? They reel in the draw power so you don't see as many cards throughout your deck. Yes, Gardevoir is long gone. All the archetypes you know right now are long gone. Power has come down. We are in a great time. You're geared up for the 2026 World Championships, and you're evaluating your Ace spec for the time. Do I go Computer Search, or do I go Broken Time Space, the Ace spec? Those are some nice decisions to have, and I think this card should come back. If you don't agree with me, let me know in the comments below. If you stuck around until the end, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I am going to try to put out another video before we shift gears to 151, but the format has been fun. Let me know what you think of these types of videos, and until next time, guys, take care.